been able to make and scrounge up since. And this central plateau is where the magistrate and the other patricians live. So
Beautiful.
don't expect a warm welcome.
Galerius, you're meant to be working the farm, not trudging dirt into the villas.
Take it easy, Horatius. I was just taking our new friend here to see the magistrate.
Well, he's asked me to escort the newcomer personally. The farm. Go. Now.
You'd better go with him. But just remember, they're not like you and me. Don't let them use you.
What was that?
Don't let them use us.
I said it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, I'm watching you, farm boy.
Permadeath type game modes seem to be getting more popular. I agree. Harder games are quite popular, and I like it. I like it. Very much so.
Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please.
Okay.
Follow me. The only thing you really need to understand right now is the Golden Rule. Let me see if I can explain it this way.
Nobody's said what the rule
When I
is
was
yet.
serving in the Legion. If there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong. One of us in 10 would die for the crimes of the collective. We call it decimation. If that seems like rough justice to you, you're in for a rude shock. Because the Golden Rule is exactly 10
Roguelike,
times
yeah.
worse. The magistrate can explain the rest.
It's roguelike, yeah. Where you die, you come back, and you have certain abilities or certain things you take from your run. It's roguelike, yeah. So another example of that kind of game would be Hades, if you've ever played that. Really good games. They can be hit and miss though.
Who's up these stairs?
Roguelite. I don't get the distinction. It's difficult. And one way you don't is like roguelite.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
Dave?
A curious name to match a curious accent. But I digress. I see you have the piercing and astute eyes of a man of great learning.
Damn straight, I'm an
We're always
archaeologist.
happy to welcome another scholar to our little community. Equitia will be delighted to meet you, I'm sure. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains, many hundreds of years ago.
It is beautiful.
Indeed. More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months. 22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin?
No.
Nor could I until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions.
Oh, we read this.
Warning, the many shall suffer for the sins of the one. From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. We've come to call it the Golden Rule. It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away.
What a strange situation. These questions will be available later. Okay. You're not familiar with Hades, but you played Battle Brothers. Yeah, I read that. You reload if you lose. I suppose that in its way, it's sort of like, but when you restart, that's kind of like when it's built into the game. That's when it's kind of like a roguelite. What you're talking about there is just reloading a save. Like, I think people sometimes call it save scumming, but I'm not sure. I'm not entirely particularly familiar with certain words like that, but let's see what we're gonna ask Magistrate Sentinus. What counts as a sin? What do you mean when you said Proserpina sent me? Why can't you investigate? Do you have any suspects? If I do this, will you help me get back to my time? What counts as a sin?
An intelligent question. There was a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen. And we must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries.
I'm not sure that's a good idea. What is legal isn't always moral, and many of your laws and customs are considered barbaric from where I'm from. But if everybody in the city is Roman, then surely the only person that would think it was immoral would be me. So, makes sense.
I'm glad you agree. The key things to
Thanks,
remember
Login.
are that we have laws forbidding treason and blasphemy, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson and so on. I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you.
Okay.
You see, in my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time, so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back.
Oh God.
And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time.
Cutting right to the point. You're right. I'm from 2,000 years into the future.
2,000 years? That is unfathomable. Please, tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us? Of this city?
You'd all be turned into golden statues.
I have imagined it, our downfall 1,000 times. But it still breaks my heart to hear the truth of it.
I'm not sure that was a good idea to tell him the truth. How does the ritual work?
All I can tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions. I have to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all rituals, some sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. the life of the person performing the
Shit.
ritual. I don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future?
Classically Roman question. I did see human remains in the temple. Did I?
I assume that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me everything. You'll try to make sure I don't need to use it, won't you?
I'll do my best.
Well, I suppose that's all I can ask for.
Okay, why can't you investigate?
Well, I believe you're in the best position to go around asking people questions. You're new here, and it'll seem perfectly normal. As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot.
Okay.
Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore? What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes.
I like the
less
voice
I
acting.
prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better.
The less prejudice, the independence of your investigation. Okay. How do you know you're not the person responsible?
Me? Why would you suspect me? I've just told you. I'm about to sacrifice my own life to ensure these people have a second chance. What reason could
It
you
is
possibly
soothing,
have to
yeah.
suspect me, of all people?
It's not just the soothingness, it's the way he's reading the lines and putting pauses and things. It's pretty good. Very Roman. What you imagine would be Roman.
I'm glad you think so. Without trust, without each other, we won't be able to prevent what is about to happen.
Tell me what you really think.
Well, all right. There are those who wish to vote me out of office so that they can pursue their own misguided political agenda. Frankly, their selfishness and recklessness risk destabilizing the entire city. I would be looking very carefully at them if I were you.
So, if one person does a crime of what we think is against a Roman crime, everybody will die. And he thinks that's about to happen soon. There's an election going forward. And he thinks the people doing the new leaders are to blame. Will you help me get back to my own time?
If I understand Proserpina's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself. Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the Golden Rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense?
Yeah. Sure, why not? No, I do think so. That's all the questions.
Good. So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the Golden Rule?
I'm in.
Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately.
Okay, let's get started.
And one last thing. If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. Seems like something's not right.
I'll get right on it. Lucretia. Whoa. What happened? tab to check your quest journal. To see objective markers for a given quest, click the eye beside it. Is that... Yeah, okay. Let's go see Lucretia. We're looking for...
Whatever are you wearing?
Who are you?
Oh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
I'm gonna go.
I trust you can see yourself out.
We'll talk to her later. I don't want to get confused. Let's go see what Lucretia's doing.
Hey Horatius, how's it feel knowing your man's doomed to lose the election today?
If you're
See a
trying
gladiator?
to lose me into an argument, it won't work. I was stoic, remember?
If the old man couldn't even keep his own daughter safe, how can anyone trust him to keep us safe, eh?
Why do I get the feeling you lot had something to do with Centilla's disappearance?
That's it. Blame everyone but yourself.
If I find out you did something to that poor sweet girl, not even the Golden Rule is gonna protect you. Got it?
Huh. As if I'll be afraid of you, little man.
Would a gladiator... Oh. Tap X to guide towards your...
On your best behavior, I trust?
Huh.
Isn't the great temple majestic?
Yes. Has someone died?
Give me a moment. Sorry I'm such a mess. I just lost a patient and a dear friend. Yulia. She was a good woman.
What happened?
She was poisoned. She came in here frothing at the mouth. Normally I'd treat her with resin of silphium, a rare plant which is perfect for this sort of thing. And I knew Decius had some at his market stall, right around the corner. So I ran over there, but he just looks at me with this evil smile and says, "That'll be 1,000 denarii." There was no way I could afford that, and he knew it. Then that toad shrugs and says, "Supply and demand. I guess you don't value your friend's life that highly." Anywhere else, I'd just pay a thug to steal it from his stall. But there's no way I can do that down here with the Golden Rule. So all I could do is come back here and just watch her die. I kept on apologizing. And now I'll never know who poisoned her, or how they managed to do it without breaking the Golden Rule, or why she cursed that snake's cruel black eyes with her dying breath.
I mean, she could have eaten something bad.
Well, unless you have the power to bring someone back from the dead, there's really just one thing you can do. Get me that silphium resin. I'm going to have another patient in here soon. Could be in the next day or in the next hour. And I will not allow this to happen again. I don't care how you get it, but you have to make it happen. Because if I lose another patient this way, I swear to the gods below, not even the Golden Rule will stop me from marching up to that Genetricum Fututor and scratching his eyes out.
What the hell's a Genetricum Futor? Fututor. I'll get right on it.
Well, come back if you get sick or injured. Day or night, I'll do what I can.
It doesn't look like you can do much. Yes,
Salve.
yes. All right.
Salve, stranger, and welcome to our idyllic little slice of the Empire. I'm Decius. Terrible shame what happened to Yulia, but we just have to carry on, don't we?
What's your story?
You mean, how did I end up here? That is a lengthy tale.
Let's hear it, mate.
All right?
All right.
You see, I'm in the business of procuring rare and precious objects liberated from the enemies of Rome. Mostly sculptures, vases, the occasional slave, fetch a magnificent price in Roman high society. Had myself a nice little shop in Rome, just off the Forum. Lots of foot traffic and close to the docks. Good place to be when the fires broke out. See, about 7 months ago, half of Rome caught on fire. Everyone who couldn't get to an outer gate was running for the river, hoping to escape by barge. So I gathered my coins and some priceless vases into a cart and had my most loyal slave girl, pretty young thing named Acantha, push it for me. All the way down to the river, I'm elbowing for a stampede of people, turning back now and then to make sure she hasn't legged it with my valuables. But, to my surprise, we make it, and I see this barge loading up, and it's so full it's almost sinking. But the captain's happy to take my coin, so I start boarding, and then he puts his hand on my chest and he says, "No, too heavy. The cart or the girl." So I did what anyone would have done.
He's totally chosen the cart, right?
Of course I chose the cart. I mean, I can always buy a new slave girl if I still have my money. So I put my hand on the cart, and I guess she realised what was happening because those pretty black eyes of hers go all wide. And in one swift motion, she topples the whole bloody thing into the Tiber.
So you took her with you after all? I think I see where this is going.
Naturally, I dived in after it, hoping to salvage my fortune. Only, I guess I must have hit my head or something, because everything went black. When I came to, I'd washed up on the riverbank, not far from here, with nothing in the world but a single silver coin.
Commiserations.
Thank you, friend. But it turns out it might have been a stroke of good fortune, because this place is a veritable treasure trove. Look around you. There must be more gold in here than in the treasury of Rome. If I can just figure out how to get it out of here.
It's a good point. Do you know a way out?
I'm afraid not. If you're desperate,